Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our Saturday afternoon stream. I'm going to introduce you to someone I met in the Atheist in Kenya's Zoom hangout a week ago or two. His name is Bolelang. So it's going to be myself and Theodore, and we're just going to have a chat about about meeting new atheists in Cape Town. I mean, I was surprised. I was saying to myself, like, where is this guy? And we're only meeting him now. So yes, we are your people. We are here. You know, welcome to the group.
Hi, afternoon, everybody. Yeah, and thank you to meet you. Yes, I was surprised also because how can I be from Cape Town and go and meet you in Kenya?
Exactly. No, but we are here, you know, so we are working very hard to try and get a community of atheists going here. You know, especially you know, the community of atheists, we are so marginalized. We live on the outsides of the circle, you know, so you know, anything that can bring us closer together, that can make us, you know, connect with one another and get that sense of community, that is what my goal is, you know, just to get people together.
Yes, I agree with you because I suspect that there are people who call themselves Christians or Muslim just for the sake of that association that they
The
get there.
community, yeah.
And they don't even want to deal with any cognitive dissonance that they get because when they think about losing the community, it scares the hell out of them.
Yeah. It's true, you know. But just before you joined, Theo and I were talking about that whole thing of the in group and the out group, you know, and how religion uses that as a control mechanism, you know. So it's you know, it basically controls people. People are scared of losing their sense of community, their friends, their social circle. Some people are, you know, at work are involved in these religious circles. So it's a very strong control mechanism, you know. So when we can create a sense of community, it'll all help to, you know, to break down that control and that stranglehold that religion has on people. Yeah.
Yes, I'm a good example of it. I used to be in very strong circles in the church. They call it congregation.
Yeah.
I come from the Jehovah's Witnesses side,
Oh
and
my!
you know, once you break away from it,
They shun you,
all
huh?
the yes, yes, not even only friends, even family. You know, you'd be speaking to family, and they would be watching whether you speak only critical things. We
Yeah.
should keep our relationship to bare minimum. Only discuss things that are critical
Yes.
and not
Yes.
just associate.
Mm.
So yes, I'm in that position. I've been in it for some time. I
Yeah.
know I haven't been able to find a strong circle in people who are unbelievers.
Right. Right. Right.
Uh, yeah.
Yeah. You know, this is a funny thing, is because even before, you know, before COVID started, we were starting to get, you know, like 3 or 4 of us would show up for a brunch meeting, and we would go, you know, maybe once a month, and we'd go sit in the company gardens and we'll have a brunch or we'll drink some coffee and just talk. And then COVID hit and everything stopped, you know. So we said to ourselves, no, man, we've got to start something online and just have hangouts or meetups, just so we can have that sense of community. You know, I'm very,
Yeah, I know what happened.
yeah.
You, with your ungodly ways, trying to come together and build a
And God
system
said,
against God.
fight them.
God sent COVID. So everything fell on its face. You know the story of the who was that Nimrod?
Yeah.
Nimrod tried to build the tower that goes up to heaven.
Yes.
then everything was foiled. When people started speaking all these different languages, the Bible says.
Oh, that's crazy, man. So,
Yeah.
I'm very interested in, how can we say, cults. So I mean, I consider the Jehovah's Witnesses are, not like the Scientologists or whatever, but they do exhibit signs of that cult-like behavior, where there is, I don't know if you've ever seen a dead person, like their eyes go, it's like glass, and the same thing happens to believers when they are in that, like you can see it in their eyes, they have this glazed look, and that's the thing that I associate with cult-like behavior. The first thing I see is that mind control that they program into people. They control everything from, people are expected to spend a certain amount of time, pushing literature and doing this kind of thing. So I'm very interested in, what your journey was like, leaving that, and whether it was, how can I say, whether it was, whether you met a lot of resistance, because I've heard stories of them pulling people into meetings with elders and sitting them down, and they're going through all this process, and then eventually when people get what they call disfellowshipped or kicked out of the organization, then there is, again, like all these social consequences. So if you don't mind, just, give us a rundown of what that exit journey was like for you.
In fact, when I joined this StreamYard and I see two of you there, it felt like a visit from the Atheists, and elders would always come to,
In pairs,
that when it's two, they are there to encourage you. When they are three, you are in shit. So when you came with your Theodore, he hasn't said a lot, but I see Dean and Theodore.
Yeah.
Are they not sucking me into this organization? Maybe the next thing I'll be sitting in the consulate and I'll be following some rules at the consulate, and I'll be knowing what not to say and what to say, and all that independence that I like, that it's gone.
Yeah.
You see, with me, I was born into that religion.
Right.
Even if that language is wrong, because you cannot be born into a religion.
Right.
And also they view it that way also, because you cannot be part of them until you get baptized. Right. And they don't want you to be baptized as a baby. They want to wait for you to say, I need to be baptized. So you'll find that people get baptized from what age? Some of the ones that I know from age 10 up to what age? I got baptized when I was 18. I was resisting. I started to feel my unbelieving when I was 14.
Right. Right.
So I had issues before getting baptized. I remember I approached my father and said, no, I've got an issue with God. I don't understand God. I don't understand what sort of a being is this, because there's nothing like God. He doesn't have beginning. He doesn't have an end. He has been there all along, and there's something amiss here. Then said no, but there are things like that. It's that you don't want to see. If you can look at time, for instance, Time has no beginning, time has no end. Said with a thought, it made some sense to me. Came again, said, also space. Where does space end? The universe, when we are sitting in a universe like this, do you think universe is inside a box? If it's inside a box, where is that box sitting? So space must be endless also. And if you can understand those two concepts and manage to grasp them, and they make sense to you, then you'll understand God. I must say, even space and time, still I find them to be very tricky concepts. I haven't managed to wrap my mind around them, even now. But from there, he started to put seeds that there's something I don't know. Then that's what got me into the journey of starting to read. Because before I was not a reader, I was just following parents. Then I started to become an avid reader of the Bible at age 17.
Right.
Yeah, by age 24, I had read that book 3 times all over, and certain things were happening. I was reading this book, but I still had doubts. But I had a lot of knowledge on this book. And now elders would come and, at 18, because I met a lady that I loved. I was 17. And eventually I knew that we will get married, and it's only baptized people that are married. So I did also get baptized at around that age. But after being baptized, then there are other steps, because there are those levels, spiritual levels, as you get into the congregation. I had so much knowledge that people would come and ask things, and I would explain what is in the scriptures, what is in the books, because there's a lot of literature. And I had read all that literature, even old literature. So that opened a rabbit hole. I remember a number of times they would ask, but the congregation needs me now. The assignments where I can be a ministerial servant, that is people who, it's males also, males who can help officially in the congregation. The first time they approached me, I never agreed. Then the second time I agreed, then grew up. Then at age 22, they came to ask me to become an elder. I refused that one. 23 again, they came, I refused. 23, 24, I agreed to become an elder. And now it's like you are in that net now, because you are part of the body that makes decision. That's the highest level that you can be in a local chapter, which is called a congregation.
Right.
So I was sitting there being an elder that doesn't have faith. I've never had faith in my entire life. I'm not a person that thinks like that. I'm very logical. So I learned something from myself. I was faithless, but the faithful looked upon me to guide them in their faith.
The irony. I'm telling you, the sheep will always look for some. They'll look for a wolf or a lion to lead them.
But here's the question also.
Yeah.
In that group of people, because a congregation can go up to about 200 people
Mhm.
or less, but when it becomes bigger than that, it breaks into two. But in that group of people, how many people are not like me?
Mm.
How many people are not there because they like the way that people speak here and the way that people visit each other and the way people love each other, or because in that organization people are taught to love each other?
Uh,
It's not what you find outside here.
yeah.
I mean, every week there are different people visiting your family. You go to different places to have supper and lunch with people.
Yeah.
You are so busy within that environment, and we check on each other,
Right.
and that makes you to be in that group. You
Yeah.
cannot get sick and nobody not know about you.
Right.
And if one gets to know that you are sick, all of them are there. The
Yeah.
following day, you'll be having a lot of visitors, and
Yeah. Yeah.
to be like a party in your place. They will clean your place. There's that environment, and it's a community that it's difficult when you go out of to find
Yeah.
any other similar place. I don't think it exists. I've never seen it, but it's because there's a focus on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even when a new person comes that we have not seen, automatically the focus is just to get that person to feel comfortable
Uh,
and to be part of this congregation. And they won't feel like not coming next week.
yeah.
Says, yes, those people are so warm. Ask your name, they remember it, your phone numbers, where you come from, your interest, and you are part of that. So you should understand that there's that type of an environment, and everything is taken literally from the Bible.
Mm.
So there are a lot
Literally.
of things that were said by all those guys from the first century that form part of your day-to-day living.
And it's probably there's if you say literally, that means 6,000 years ago, Adam and Eve in the garden with the snake, and so forth. It's
Oh yes, and yeah, uh, according to the doctrine,
yeah.
we are on the seventh day now.
Right.
Anytime God can decide to end this and say,
Yeah.
away with bad people now, I'm leaving only these good guys.
Yeah. You know what?
But
I always find.
And
Yes.
it's
Sorry.
mm,
only our witnesses that get saved, if I remember correctly. Not other
yes,
Christians.
no. Which religious organization that teaches people that other organizations are right? Every religious organization, they are the only one who are right, and they are the only one who are interpreting the Bible in the way that God wants it to be interpreted.
Mm.
Mm.
Haven't you noticed? That is why we've got so many churches, because everybody thinks that they are the right church.
It's true what you say. It's funny how when two people have a disagreement, they split up, and one person starts his own church, and another person starts his own church.
Yes,
And
by
just went
the way, what is that called? It has a name that I thought about it earlier in our discussion.
I
It starts
don't know.
with S. S, is it
I
schism or
don't.
something like that? Yes.
Yeah, schism. Yeah, this is
Yes. Because, for instance, Seventh Day Adventist and
yeah,
Jehovah's Witnesses, they've got the same beginning,
right.
but there was a schism there, and they parted ways.
Sure.
Right.
I think
Well, what
the
is that? You know,
others.
Theo touched on something earlier when he mentioned, isn't there some doctrine with the Jehovah's Witnesses that there's only going to be a certain number of people that are going to be raptured up in the end? It's like 140,000 or something along those lines.
144,000.
144,000. Yeah, yeah. You're
No, they are not raptured at the end. Oh, okay. Seventh Day Adventurist talks about rapturing at the end. Jehovah's
okay.
Witnesses talks about it happening immediately. If a person is among those anointed,
Okay.
immediately they die, they are resurrected, and they go to heaven immediately.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing. It's just like it's so you're gonna be sitting having dinner with somebody, and then it's just gonna be like, and then you die, and you.
Yeah, those are things that are in the myth, the book,
Yeah.
and people took it serious without questioning it so much, because if I were to look at what would hold a Jehovah's Witnesses from even questioning that much is because they have questioned the Bible and tried to understand it fully.
Yeah.
They teach you to go through every verse, and you find people who have read the book. So everything that book is saying, they take it literal. So you cannot come with other arguments that are outside that book.
Yeah. Yeah. No, they're big on Bible study as well. You know, they they
Yes,
study that book top to bottom.
you can't be part. You can't be part of the congregation without Bible study. You've got to get somebody that has gone through the Bible study to conduct a Bible study for you, and it's a process that goes from 6 months to about 2 years, depending on how person how good a person is in reading.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's recommended literature that you've got to go through, and after that, the Bible itself, you must read it.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell me, Bolelang, how many copies of the Watchtower did you sell?
And that record is with the congregation.
Right.
I don't have it because there are reports.
I'm saying this as a joke, you know.
But they give those books out free.
Did they give it out
Yes.
free?
Yeah.
Before we used to sell it.
All right.
To cover the costs.
Yes.
But then the government changed the rules for tax. If you put a price on it, then they will tax you. Yeah, so from that point onwards, you could only give them away, and people would donate whatever they want to donate. Yeah. Others donate, others don't. But funny thing happened also then, because then people started giving more money than when they had prices.
Okay.
Yeah, and the organization would say God is blessing them because of Caesar's rules.
That's crazy. Yeah. How was was your whole family involved in the JWs as well?
Yes, my father got into contact with them in his late teens, early 20s, when he left Lesotho and he came to Johannesburg as a migrant worker.
Right.
And just like me, he's an avid reader, but he's far more than me when it comes to reading. He finishes a book in a night or two.
Okay.
I'll take a week or so, and
Me
where
too.
we differ also, he writes notes, and he's very systematic. So he rose quickly within ranks, and yeah, his whole family. He has 9 children, and only 3 are not baptized.
Okay.
Yeah. And there are others who died young. So 5 were not baptized, but others were baptized.
Right.
Yes, including myself.
Yeah. And that process of distancing yourself from the religion, how was that like in your family circle? I mean, if it's not too personal.
My lack of faith
Mm-hmm.
led me to live a double life.
Right.
Because if you have faith, you believe that God is watching you.
Mm.
So I still did things that I wanted to do, and that led to being disfellowshipped. Yeah. And you know what? When you are disfellowshipped, they don't talk to you.
Oh.
So
it must be very painful.
No, I said I'm logical.
Okay.
I can read why people do things. So if somebody doesn't talk to me, I don't say, why don't they talk to me? What have I done? I know exactly what I've done, and I know why they're not talking to me, and I know what they've been told to believe that is the right way to treat me. So it's not painful. There's no connection. There's no connection, but there's no pain. Pain is if you are in denial and you say, "No, I've been shot." In fact, people who would go back, it's people who would look at that and think that it's painful.
Yeah.
It's not. I love my family, but if they don't want to talk to me, they don't want to talk to me, and they love God more than they love me. And Jesus said that.
It's true.
I forgot the scripture now because when I was very conversant with the scripture, so I would even quote you that at Matthew chapter verse what Jesus said. He said he came to divide son and father.
Yeah, and put mother against daughter and father against son.
Yes, and that scripture is used also. So now don't worry. When you show those principles, your loved one will come back.
Yeah.
In fact, that's the purpose of shunning, so that you should come back.
Exactly.
But if you come back because you missed your family, but you still don't have faith, I see a recipe for disaster there.
Exactly. Yeah. Because even when you live a lie, you know in your heart, and the thing is, I cannot imagine having to live a double life. Maybe it's just because I'm old enough to not care. But when you're young, especially, there's a lot of pressure on you from your family, from society, and the last thing that you want to do is to not fit in. Like you want to be a part of something, especially in your early life. Only when you get older do you feel comfortable resisting the flow of the river. So
Yeah,
it's a very
and they give you room.
Mhm.
Like in Catholic, you can do things, then come and confess.
Mhm.
So even with the JW, you can do things. Then, if you come and talk to elders about them, and they look at ways of strengthening your faith, then it removes that issue of feeling guilty
Yeah.
when you have a double life. But it works up to a certain age.
Yeah.
When I reached my 40s, then that was enough.
Yeah. I mean, I
I
always
could
ask
not be
myself.
naughty and come and tell anymore.
I always ask myself, like, what has Jesus done for Africa? It's like I find it so crazy that that religion has come so far from the northern hemisphere, and it's infected Africa and Africans especially. I mean, I was in there myself, so. But there seems to be something within our local cultures that really resonates with that idea of Christianity and church and pastors, because it's very strange to see African atheists, and especially when I was starting this journey of talking to African atheists. There are so few, and I'm trying to understand just what the psychology in culture is with atheism, whether it's whether there's some systemic idea about spirituality or something. Maybe if you can give some insight on that.
Yeah, the word spirituality,
Yeah.
that's the fraud. It's fraud.
Yeah. Exactly. I agree.
And most African people believe that they are spiritual.
Mm.
When you say spiritual, you say you are metaphysical.
Yeah.
If I use another word, you don't operate on reality.
Yeah. Yeah.
You operate on stories that you form. You operate within music and the feelings that you derive from it, and how you feel when, things that you dream when you're sleeping. All these things that cannot be proven in a scientific way to prove whether they are wrong or right.
Yeah.
Our culture is infested with that way of thinking.
Yeah.
In fact, that is why music moves us more than any other group of people.
Mm.
We are more onto the feeling.
Yeah. Yeah.
We love to do something that gives us goosebumps.
Yeah.
Whether those goosebumps are caused by our action or anything, we don't care. It seems it comes from the outside, from the spiritual realm.
Yeah.
So yes, that word is that phrase. An African is very spiritual.
Yeah.
Is said over and over. I would say an African has been taught to love emotions that come from things that are outside and not to go through them logically. You know, there are many things in my culture that are done, but that you never know why they're done.
Right.
And when you ask, why is a teen girl not allowed to eat eggs and cheese?
Yeah.
Because in my culture, they are not allowed to eat too much of that. You won't be given an answer. As an adult, I think that it's because those are protests and they don't want a child to be sexually active before time.
Yeah.
And they keep it away from them. Boys, they don't care when they're sexually active. That is why they don't talk of people, boy from being promiscuous, but girls, they're talked of from being promiscuous, but nobody will tell you. You'll figure it out. When you ask, they will say it's because it's like that.
Yeah. It's tradition.
So, yes, it's because it's like that. And if you grow in an environment where things are done because they are like that, then you won't question things.
Yeah.
If you find them being Methodist, and you say, why didn't you choose Catholic? Why didn't you choose Anglican? Says it's because it's like that. Shut up and go to the church. Do you think your ancestors were crazy when they chose to become Methodists?
Yeah.
Do you think you are more clever than your ancestors?
Yeah.
Then you say, no, I respect them. So shut up. Be a good boy. And that is why my two youngest children, I taught them to question us.
Yeah.
Not to the bone. They should question us to the bone marrow.
Through and through.
Yes. And
that's
I've got myself sometimes being agitated if I wanted something very quickly. And the last born, the boy, he would ask questions. And as I said, no. Got myself into trouble now. I just want him to do this. I said, oh, go. I'll tell you. We'll discuss it later. But yeah. My father also was leaning towards that side. He never had issues with us asking questions, but he always had an answer in the Bible.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm in a certain sense, I am hopeful. Because I see that the tide is turning. Like the tide is turning for religion. Those days when religion just said jump and everybody said, how high must we jump? Those days are over. And people are starting to think for themselves. But you can't help but notice how prevalent and how strong religion is, especially when you in the cities, not so much, but especially when you move just to the outskirts of the cities and you start going into the into the rural areas, those people people there live, breathe, eat, sleep Jesus, and it's crazy.
But it's because in villages
Mm.
People are homogeneous.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't go to a funeral because somebody was your friend,
Yeah.
or a wedding because those people were close to the family. When they do things as a village,
Yeah.
you do it with them.
Yeah.
If you don't do it, then you are not part of this village.
Yeah. Yeah.
You are a troublemaker. They can even look at ways of making you uncomfortable that you relocate. So imagine being in that environment and you start to tell people that you don't believe.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I'm in Cape Town. This is a city, but when I tell people that I don't believe, others run away.
Yeah.
I don't mean who's that guy from Jamaica? No,
The bulb one.
no, not dashing away like that. But you see, next time that person that you met and the ice broke so easily, and you were friends, and you found a lot of things common with them. Once you touch that issue, that when they talk about God, you say, "Which God?" Say, huh? Yes, which God are you talking about? There are so many gods.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the one who created, but which one created? Because there are so many stories of who
All
created.
of them created
Mm.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, and I find that uh, a lot of people would say it's the wrong move, but for me, it's the right move because I don't want to be with people who have a part of me that they don't like.
Exactly. I'm also of that age now where, for me, the most important thing in my life is to be authentic. I would rather you be angry with me than for me to have to be fake and to force something. Like I
And
can,
try to satisfy you.
exactly.
No, it doesn't work that way.
No.
Even oh, one thing also about me, I don't want people who in my life who don't genuinely are not interested in me.
Yeah. No, exactly.
I pride myself that I've never ever proposed love to a woman who doesn't love me.
Yeah.
And guys, usually they would say I'm crazy.
Yeah.
As a youngster, you look at that girl. I said, nah, uh-uh, I've never seen her showing interest in me. I live alone.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be in the lives of people who are not interested to be in my life.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
We've got a closer way to Guzfaga.
Saga.
A person who tend to Guzfaga, it's a person who likes to be relevant in circles
Okay.
that they are not accepted, and you find them trying too hard. No, I don't like that type of living.
Yeah.
Uh, Things should develop organically, and
Yeah.
people that
Yeah.
are drawn towards you will come. People who find you that you repel them, they will go. Maybe after some time, they will understand why you found their stories not convincing enough.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
you will join later, but yeah,
Yeah.
it is like that.
Yeah. I mean, oh, excuse me. I can't wait for this, pandemic thing just to settle down a little bit, because we really must have those lunches and brunches and things in the company gardens. And, it's, I love going there on a Saturday morning or a Sunday morning and sitting there. It's beautiful in the trees, and everybody just sits there. We have breakfast and we talk a lot of nonsense. And that sense of community is something that we mustn't lose, because I've seen a lot of communities, they start off great, and then, just that interest in keeping people together and being a part of something, it fades out, and then people lose interest and the community also dissolves. We need to we need to keep this kind of these conversations. We need to keep them going. Maybe it's just the three of us today. Tomorrow somebody else will see this conversation and they'll be able to relate and they connect to that idea. So this is very important, what we are doing, just having these conversations and normalizing these kind of conversations. It helps other people as well to get that sense of belonging. So
as long as we don't force it upon people,
of course, yeah.
I think people, when they see somebody that they connect with, they will connect.
Exactly. Yeah.
And there's nothing that will set them apart until they start to lose interest. And even when that happens, it's natural.
Yeah.
They have to follow what they feel.
Yeah.
Because if you force a relationship, then things won't work out, and you'll have to rely on rules.
Yeah, exactly.
You see, so I don't think what should bring people who don't believe should be they are not believing.
Yeah.
It's within these people who don't believe. I met Dean, and Dean, hey, he likes crypto like I like crypto. Oh. And there's a lot of things I can learn about him. Or he likes cooking like I like cooking, and we like the same type of dishes. Then we can meet and do these things. There's always other things that makes you tick than not just believing in God.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't believe in Superman, but I don't go around looking for other people who don't believe in Superman. but even though I know that not believing in Superman doesn't have adverse consequences, like not believing in God, we are being forced to look for relationships and establish relationships that are artificial because of people who are using artificial relationships on the other side based on a mythological character. So we should not be caught up in that trap. We should still be normal people who love people because they are lovable, and who find people that are repelling them repellent.
Yeah, exactly.
And that means a lot of those meetings then, in order for that to happen.
Yeah.
And you must watch Dean, because if you do it regularly, we might end up appointing you our priest. And then we've got a new religion.
I'll come with a hat and a robe and everything.
And then we'll take up an offering.
Because I was looking at the marriage officers.
Yeah.
If you don't want to go to Home Affairs, there are non-secular marriage officers.
Yeah.
Who are non-believers. But I've noticed that they've developed rituals now that look similar to the religious ones, where they come with that aura and walking slow and saying vows in a pretentious manner.
It's strange, like I mean, Theo just got married now a while ago, didn't you?
Yeah, 3 years ago.
How long?
3.
3 years. Fuck, it looks like yesterday.
No, because the 2 years we don't count. These are the 2 years we are not living.
And did you?
Do you want to tell me that you saw 2020 and 2021? I haven't progressed that much. 2020 and 2021.
No, it's a blur. I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah,
remember.
what were we doing then? I don't count them in my life. So you have been married for a year. Don't worry, Theo. It is yesterday. And for the 2 years that followed, you were forced to stay with your wife in the house during lockdown, and you were not tempted enough to see other people to know that you are staying there because you want to be there or because you are scared of the police outside.
Yeah, that was the feeling the first initial months. But yeah, I'm a kind of homestayer, so my wife is the outgoing one. So yeah,
Okay, but you see, you have been forced to be with her for the past 2 years also.
yeah.
So it was somehow a very funny period to live in our lives.
Yeah.
I hope it will come to an end.
Yeah.
But yeah, look at what religion is doing also with the issue of vaccines.
Yeah.
Oh,
Don't
It
play.
that is a pain
was,
in the ass for me. Yes, see.
yeah, but
Yeah,
because
it's
when
addictive.
people believe, it's easy to believe any story that is thrown your way. And there are a lot of stories that are making rounds on social media.
Yeah.
And people who don't question,
Yeah.
they believe them easy.
Yeah. Yeah, I
And
mean, like there's this the mark of the beast is in the vaccine, and they're going to they're going to microchip your ass and and what? I've heard some
yeah,
crazy conspiracies, and it all comes from the religious people, because they read this book. The book starts out all nice, with people in the garden and, everybody's happy. But the book ends with everybody dying in fire, so it makes
yeah.
them crazy.
Revelation, it's a very strong book. Yeah, it needs 18 plus 18 uh,
Exactly.
V. Otherwise, V and what? But it needs that V. It's very violent.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's a horror. It's a horror scripture.
Yeah. I mean, seven-headed beasts and, and
Yes.
what.
And it's not only one beast like that. The other one looks like a dragon,
Ah,
and the other one looks like a cat.
yeah.
Both of them, they have 7 heads,
Crazy.
and the one that looks like a cat also has horns, 10 horns.
There was relation in
140.
difference. See.
Yeah, and here's the interesting part. John doesn't tell us what is this thing that he sees. He leaves it open like that, and different religions then explains it in different ways.
Mm.
Yeah.
Others will say the beast, like Jehovah's Witnesses will say,
Yeah.
League of Nations, United Nation organization is that
Yeah.
beast.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Others will come with different explanations, and the 666. I
Yeah.
remember it was the this barcode.
Yeah.
I
I also
remember
remember
that
that.
time
Yeah.
people say, no, 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 no. You see that barcode, now it is all the things that we buy are defiled.
Yeah.
And it
I
shows that the beast is getting strong. Now is the vaccine that is the 666.
Yeah. Yeah. But this is
And
something that fascinates me is conspiracy theories. It's like I don't know if it's just because we've got access to so much information now. With the internet and everything. But every single crazy person with a tinfoil hat is online talking about the Earth is flat, vaccines, and 5G, and government's trying to control you, and it's crazy how these people have got a platform and a voice now.
But I
Because
think what
like 20,
happened,
30 years ago, those are the people that we would call crazy. Like they would be the crazy uncle that lives on the farm that nobody speaks to anymore. But now they've got a voice, and the internet has given them a voice, and they talk.
you see what happens if you are a logical person,
Yeah,
and you speak when you see something.
yeah,
Usually you speak because there are underlying reasons.
yeah,
You have seen something and you state your case and it is factual. And somebody who is not logical may look at that and admire it, but they are still illogical. Then they will also stand up against authority, but they will come with nonsense things. And that is what the internet has landed us in. Because at the beginning, it was people who had the basis
yeah,
of raising the unjust things that were happening, and
yeah,
why we should be careful against authority. But now all nonsense is a reason to be against authority.
yeah, yeah. And then the funny thing is, these people who are so against authority, they are the most religious people that follow every single word that the preacher and the Bible and the church tells them. They will follow it to the letter. But then when it comes to some crazy conspiracy about vaccines or 5G, then they go crazy. I don't get it. There's some level of dissonance in their brain that that doesn't make the two things meet up.
Yeah, it has been honed in from when they were young.
Yeah, yeah,
Something like questioning your parent takes time to happen.
yeah,
And if you can remember the first time when you started to see that, oh, these are just human beings like me, you can take the very same thing and put it on the religious people. They see the church being authority,
yeah,
and something that you cannot speak against. I've got a cousin who was an atheist, and he never went to church, and he never even wanted to be buried by the church. But I remember that after his death, the family started looking for somebody to bury him, because they were thinking, how can we bury a person without any spiritual something around it? So you can see that. Yes, and you go, you get married at Home Affairs. Oh, wow, your marriage is going to fall apart. so somehow religion has taken that space that it is an authority above all authority.
yeah,
And even an authority above science. Science, there are people who hate science as if science is an authority of a sort. I call science observation.
yeah,
You observe how things happen, you learn the rules underlying them,
yeah,
and after observing, you write what you observed. It's not an authority of a sort, it's how things happen. But they attack it also as authority, that no, we are no more going to listen to science. And they say it on a computer that works in a very technical way, send it to you using the frequencies that are on the air when they do it through their mouths, and the vibration that gets into you, all scientific things. Say, no, I don't like science. But And you're
On the
sitting there,
computer,
you
I
say,
hate science.
can this person understand what they're talking about?
Yeah,
Do they know what is science?
yeah,
Because they think that science is a religion of a sort,
yeah.
and it is not. And they think science is against religion.
It's not. Science
No,
is
every
truth.
eh, eh,
Yeah.
eh, eh, religion is
Religion is
against
a
evidence.
casualty of truth.
Yeah, religion is against evidence, and science brings up evidence. Now it looks as if it's something that is against religion,
No.
and all these things are the things that made me to not love religion that much, and that made me not to have faith.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say I wasted my life living with people who are in the faith. I learned a lot of things from them. I
Yeah.
learned order. I learned how to be affectionate towards other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, even though it was done under the rule of the Bible,
Mm.
but I can see how it works. They are clean people, so there are things that I picked up from them that I appreciate, but I'm not going back to religion.
Yeah.
Even if I can be shunned, what I feel inside, it's exactly how I live now. Uh, I cannot tell people about God that I doubt. In fact, I even fall on that group of people. I find certain atheists very militant, being sure that God doesn't exist, or he. I'm not on that group. I say I have no evidence whatsoever of the existence of God.
Yeah.
But if God tomorrow decides to be nice and comes to be like he came to Adam, like he came to Methuselah, to Moses, to David, and all those guys, and say, "Hi, Bolelang, take off your shoes now because you are going to talk to the big boy." And I say, "Gee, is that
On the
you?
road, the
Show
road to
me."
Damascus.
When it starts to make fire and I see something doesn't burn, and I say, "Oh, sorry." These
Yeah.
guys that were coming, and I thought they were really trying to crook me. Now I can see you are here. Let's talk business. What do you want from
Exactly.
me? If that happens, then I'll believe that he exists. But
Exactly. You're
now,
open to changing your mind. Yeah. Yeah.
yes,
Mm.
now I've prayed too much, and even not even a single time, not even once
Uh,
has he said, "Hi, my son."
psst, psst.
Even that, I would appreciate it. One of the prayer sessions, he just says that nothing. The
Yeah.
answers that happen to prayers, it's when something that you have been saying, you go and act on it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I think also the people who wrote the Bible are people who like to talk in languages, not languages, what we call in stories.
Yeah.
They make certain aspects to be alive. Like a person who tell you that love is the heart.
Yeah.
Love is not the heart, but people have that tendencies of making inanimate objects alive.
Yeah.
And I think that's how God came into being.
Yeah.
And I
Exactly.
think prayer is just a process that I still do. I do sit down and talk to myself.
Yeah.
Not like open my mouth and say Bolelang, I say yes, what do you want? No. But just to listen to my thoughts, and during that time, remember things that I appreciate. It does happen.
It's a
But
form of
it's not,
meditation.
yes, but there's no name of anybody that is being mentioned
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
And if I get moments to sit down and think about things that I want and the direction that I want to take, and take time to sit with myself like that, then they happen the very same way that they happen when a person prays.
Right.
So it's not an answer that comes from outside, it's an answer that comes from you, because now you've got clarity. Now you've got confirmation that really, I want this thing.
Yeah.
I verbalized it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that is why also I accommodate people that believe, because I think they've got a process, but they don't understand how it works.
Yeah.
If somebody says religion works, it has worked for me. I say, yes, I know. Yes, it does work. But what works? That's the question. How does it work?
Yeah. I heard this. There's I work with a team that is in Russia, and the guy told me that there's a proverb, a Russian proverb that says, "It is better to be slapped with a truth than it is to be kissed with a lie," and that is, and that is something that with the first time I heard it, I said, "Fuck, that is so true." It's so true.
Yes.
And that is something that, like I would rather, have an uncomfortable truth or something that's inconvenient but true. I would prefer that to a beautiful lie, or a dream that never happens. Like that is just me at this stage of my life. When I was younger, I was such an idealist. I was such a dreamer. I wanted the world to be a peaceful green meadow in the forest. But then, as you grow old, the reality of the world and the world that we live in sets in. And like I said, just give it to me straight up. I don't need, you don't need to give me a promise of eternal life and, being alive forever, playing harps with angels, in order for me to be a good person now. I am a good person now. I live my life looking out for my fellow human being kind to everyone. I don't go around killing, raping, murdering, stealing, whatever deadly sins you have in mind. I don't do that. I'm generally just a normal good person, and that is that is something, especially when I left religion. There was this big idea. I was brought up to think that morality, goodness, and all of those things come from religion. Religion gives us these moral values.
No, they adopted them.
Yes, exactly. It's like religion stole that from humanity. If you don't know that killing is bad, murdering, stealing, rape, theft, plunder, if you don't know those things are bad, it's because you are a bad person. It's not because religion teaches you not to do it. And in fact, religion encourages those things. In certain cases, there's how many wars have been fought in the name of religion? It's
and there are countries that I can't go to.
Yeah,
countries where you can be taken to task for not believing.
Yes. I mean, go try the Middle East.
That sentence. No, you'll never see me in those countries, including Nigeria, because they've got a license to kill.
Yes, I mean, there's a very strong Islamic element in the north of Nigeria, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, north of Nigeria, there's a very strong Islamic element. That's one thing that that I find very particularly poisonous is this flavor of religion from the Middle East. We were. It's one of the younger religions on the block, but it is extremely pernicious and doesn't take any hostages. I mean, like, look at all the extremism that comes from that area of the world. It's crazy, and then you meet these what they call moderate Muslims, like they come very peaceful and like, no, it's a religion of peace and we love everybody and we just go to the mosque and we're good people. And meanwhile, within that same religion, there's this poisonous pocket of people who want to literally eradicate the entire planet and make the entire planet this monogamous view of one. Like, they don't celebrate the diversity of people. I mean, like, I love diversity.
In fact,
I look at
it hasn't died within Christianity and Muslim. The need to beg people to be like them. The Crusades and all those things, that mentality hasn't died totally. And you can see it happening. I think religion also evolves. Christianity has evolved much more better than Islam. Islam is about 500 years or so behind Christianity. And in the future, I think you'll get a lot of Islam churches under different names. Others with women imams and all those, and gay imam. It's coming in 500 years' time, you'll see.
What I really love is how, the guys from Atheists in Kenya, how they somewhere write the mosques. You guys are making noise in the mornings with your. They must do these calls to prayer in the morning, and they somewhere wrote there and said, like, no, man, you guys must keep it down. You're making too much noise with your mosques.
No, that one, I feel it's very important. Even here in Cape Town, I remember there's a person who raised the issue. I live close to a mosque. I don't know how close, but I know that early in the morning they wake me up every time. With that, then I was asking the other time, I say to a Muslim guy, what are they saying in the morning? Then they say, he said, what? You should wake up sleeping. It's what? Waking up is better than sleeping. What you are doing for those something. But I said, no, I'm not part of that. Why are they shouting it for everybody? But you know what happened here. This thing happens in primitive times. Where that whole society was that religion. And they are taking it to this environment where there are so many people, and they are still forcing it on people. And they get so sensitive if a person doesn't like it. There's a gentleman in Durban who was just militant about it. Somebody complained about it in Durban. Then he took it personal. He arranged for Muslims to get into cars. Now they were using it in cars, in their hailers, moving around. Now it was worse than when it was coming from the mosques only. He just passed away. I think it was COVID also. He had a very huge funeral. Did you know about it?
I don't know.
No.
Yeah. So it's that close to their heart if you touch that. And I'm not against the guys in Kenya who says that thing is private.
Yeah.
If you want to praise Allah, go close the door, praise Allah. Get your carpet and do it in your lounge suite or where. Now you can use tools like the phone. If it has to be done at the same time, there can be an app that starts singing in your house, in the house. Then you go in your carpet, you do it. Why should the neighbor hear it if they are not part of
Exactly.
that? And
Yeah.
also, there are others who are intense, the Christians. This one usually here is done by Africans. In America, you'll find it also being done by whites,
Yeah.
where they get into tents and they get hailers.
Yeah.
And the singing in the tent, you hear it, what, 3-5 kilometers away because they are singing so loud.
Uh,
And the preaching also.
Yeah, I used to feel bad when I was in a Pentecostal church, AGS, AFM, and we used to go to people's in the street with between the houses, and we would the mic is on full volume, the music is on full volume, and it's between people's houses, and I always felt uncomfortable even during those days. We are disturbing these people. They are having a quiet Sunday, and here we are making noise, shouting at the top of our voices.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's not a quiet Sunday for you when you are there. They are under the influence of Satan. Satan doesn't want them to praise God. You will drill God into their heads.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Even when they try to close the windows and what, you'll increase the volume.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think that's what it's a spiritual rape.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
that's
is
a
the
good.
thing. This is
Yeah.
my big problem with religion. They give it to you by, they say it's, you have to choose, but it's by force because they force it onto everybody. I mean, like, you can't go a single day without finding religion somewhere in your life. Like, it's, if you take public transport, it's there. If you
Yeah,
go,
yes, a guy singing there.
if you get on the train, is
Yeah.
there. You get on the taxi, there's gospel music. If you get, you get to work, there's emails from some, religious nut in your inbox. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like you can't avoid it.
Uh, and you post something about your unbelief, then people say, "No, keep it to yourself." I said,
Yeah.
"No,
Why are you such a bigot?
as long
Why are
as
you such a hater? Why do you hate religion? You're Islamophobe. You and all of these labels. And
that I
tell
tell
you.
them, I say, when you see me writing something, I'm just responding to something that I had." So
Exactly. Yeah.
every time I hear this message is coming by direction, so I'm just going to answer to
Yeah.
all those arguments. So
Exactly.
don't worry when you hear them because I'm comfortable also hearing them now. I'm used to them anyway.
Yeah.
Mm.
Mm. Oh, the, I remember, is it 2-3 years ago? I got an accident here in our neighborhood. So from that accident, I got a very good gentleman who became friends
Uh-huh.
because he saw it. Then we're discussing about it. Then we're discussing about other things, and it was friendly until the day I posted about a church that was happening in the neighboring township that was making noise. That post pissed him off so much that he stopped talking to me. He unfriended me. Even when I see him on the street, he's just waving like that. He's not a nice person that we used to talk to before. Because he said, those people, they have the right to do that. If I don't want to hear about them, Why should I write about it?
Yeah.
And I thought maybe he was in that tent. Maybe,
Yeah.
who knows?
This is my thing as well. It's like it's virtue signaling. Like people take offense on behalf of the almighty creator of the universe. I mean, like, get over yourself, honestly. They tell the big story of this powerful, so strong and powerful being creates the whole universe and everything in it. But then when you say something that's mildly offensive, then all of a sudden, it's this big affront. And how can you say that? I mean, like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, if you say it and nothing happens to you, it would weaken what they are saying.
Yeah.
So if something doesn't happen, then there will be that something that happens.
Yeah, exactly.
They will cause you the pain.
Yeah.
So the pain that relatives are trying to cause me now because I offended God is because God did nothing about it.
Yeah.
So they have to do something so that I feel the pain.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I always
So
tell
they
people
can't
as well,
see.
I say to them, I've got no problems with the gods. Like, no, I don't care about the gods. I've got no problems with the gods. My problem lies with the fan club, the gods fan club. That's where the problem is. Like, they are the people that that want to act on behalf of the god. Like, that's the big
But
problem.
it's because you missed noticing that they are gods.
Yeah.
Anybody who serves God, they are serving themselves.
Exactly.
And that is why also they take matters upon their own if
Yeah.
God is attacked, because you attacked them.
Yeah. And it's so easy to exploit them. Like, that's the thing that I don't get. It's like, throughout society, there are going to be people, when they are exposed to power, they will take that power and they will use it to manipulate people. So you give, for example, a charismatic person the environment where he can control people, milk them for money, and you have a pastor. There you go. So
And I think those are the ones who notice that this is not true, and they see
Yeah.
how vulnerable people are. Then you rise to that level.
Yeah.
In fact, my young boy likes to say, if the only time that he becomes religious, it's if he's the leader.
It's true. I just look at some of these especially the American pastors. They lavish lifestyles. They fly in private jets. They live in mansions. And then on Sunday they tell people, no, a rich man can't go to heaven, like a camel can't go through the eye of a needle. That's right. I mean,
And they love women. They love women.
And sex scandals.
They look in the flock here and say, okay, that one.
Come, let me pray for you, sister.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Come, sister, come to the back room. Let's go pray. Oh well.
Some of these ladies are so drawn to them because they are so powerful in their congregations. People look up. They are almost the mediator between them and God, and some for some strange reason women are drawn to that, and sometimes they exploit that.
It's the effect of celebrity.
Yeah.
You see, the other thing that I've noticed, logical people also don't have celebrities.
Yeah.
You don't find them following certain clubs or being crazy about touching George Benson after the show, wanting to take a picture with him. And there are people who take those things serious. Touching a celebrity, wow, their life has changed. They don't wash their hand for the whole week. So,
my hand touched.
So the pastor in the church, he is that type of a celebrity. That is why he's given a special chair when he visits. He will sit at the end of the table, where usually the head of the family sits. In a funeral, they will eat before other people are given food. A lot of things that makes them celebrities. And if he goes and gives a sister a blessing in the back room, that sister will feel good down there for so many days. They have been blessed, touched with Holy Spirit.
Yeah, I still want to. What I want to do is I want to start collecting all these. There's a guy called Ultra Lord. I think he stays close to Bloemfontein or somewhere. That made these compilations of the African pastors, and all the scandals. It's crazy what those guys get up to and what they get away with. I mean, look at, for example, at Alfred and Cow and that nonsense that they pulled off, resurrecting people from the dead. And you see some of these video clips of. I mean, it looks like not like Hollywood, like Nollywood. Like the Nigerian special effects.
Yes, movies, yeah. But what makes people then, even after seeing a scandal, to still stick with that? I used to post those things. Yeah. Now I'm tired posting all those scandals because the very same pastors, they still have a huge following.
Yeah.
The one who has run away to Malawi after a scandal of money laundering.
Yes, I remember.
And the women that he takes to the hotel, his hotel in Rustenburg. Did it have an impact on his congregation? No.
Yeah.
Say,
I don't get it. I really don't get it.
It's strange. Yes. See. Well, I jumped from church to church, so for me, it's very strange. I don't take. If something is not right, I go to the next church, and eventually I just
In fact, I did have a period like that where I said, let me just check what is in other churches. But the problem, when you reach those churches with another background of asking questions because you come from an area where you read the Bible, then they say you've got demons. They want people to be careful of you. Yeah. That new guy is not good.
You can see the smoke coming out of his ears when the demon talks.
So I would not last because of that. Because every time you'd say things that are not from that environment, and it raises warning bells.
Yeah.
And the pastor can see that you are going to cause trouble here.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Bolelang, I think we need to, we can start wrapping it up now. I'm so happy to have met you. I'm really so happy to have met you, and welcome to our community. We're just going to wait until COVID dust settles, and then we're going to get back to, getting together and having lunches, because I really love talking, to fellow atheists, having community. And that is the purpose of our group. It's just to create that space where people can express themselves, be themselves, and be amongst people who are just like them. So
yeah.
There's
a church in Kansas,
in
America, for atheists. They meet every Sunday. I do attend their church. it's just people coming together on a. During COVID, it's over. What do you call it? Video conferencing, but normally they just meet in a building in Kansas.
Yeah.
And it's normal music. If you can play instruments, you come and you play something, or if you know poems, you can come and do your act. And somebody comes and discusses about their experience. Maybe they were sick and how they went through their journey with that disease, or some career advices. So it's something that happens regularly and every week, and they've got details. They work it way in advance what is going to happen.
Yeah.
So something like that helps people to be together, feeling sense of community, but not telling lies to each other.
Exactly.
Is that the hope after faith, guys? Jerry DeWitt. Or not? Is it not?
No. Let me check. It's. I think it's Kansas Oasis or something like that. Oh yes. You know what I'll do? I'll send a link to Dean.
Yeah.
And Theodore, you must give me your details also.
Okay.
Yeah, it's easy to find my details when you look at Bolelang Rakeepile. I'm a very active person in social media.
On Facebook.
Facebook,
Yeah, I mean, Bolelang is in
Twitter, whatever. Anywhere you'll find me.
Okay.
So it's good. You can just search with that name and push something down.
Okay.
Okay, well, let's leave it there for today, guys, and then.
But also, I've seen. No, don't send anything, Theo. Look, mine is red. Can you see? Yours is blue. I don't think we belong to the same club. No, you've got nothing. You are even worse. It was such a pleasure meeting you, gentlemen.
You can't see my earphones because they're spiritual. They're spiritual earphones.
Oh, I can see.
You've got to have faith. You know, if you have faith, then you will see them. But
or the new age, I've got to have the third eye.
You have to be anointed at a very young age with the gifts of the Spirit, and then when you receive those gifts of the Spirit, then you can see my earphones and my headdress and everything. But only very special, select few people receive these fruits of the Spirit.
And how can people not pick that up?
I don't know.
No, thank you for your time.
No, thank you for joining us, and like I said, welcome to the group. Let's wrap it up here, and yeah, we'll keep scheduling these, and we'll make it a regular thing within the group.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.